It's that time of year where we're publishing the outlook for the second quarter around the world on behalf of our clients, and we focus this week on Latin America, which Jill Hedges and I are going to chat about now. The key issue for Latin America really is Venezuela, where the health of the president, Hugo Chavez, has been ailing and is now doing so seriously, raising all sorts of questions about the future of his country after he has departed from the scene. I suppose, Jill, the first thing to ask is how soon that departure might be.
If I say how long he has in office, it really is complete speculation. It's not the case, I think, that people don't want to say what they know. It's that people really don't know. The question of how serious his health problem is has been, I think, confined to himself and one or two close advisors. It's probably realistic to say that the people who think he hasn't got more than a year or so to live may well be right, particularly given the fact that he's tried to keep up this superhuman campaign schedule. He's apparently been on steroids, which has undermined his recovery from cancer. He's now supposed to have been taken off steroids, but he's promising daily campaign activities in addition to governing. This is something which is very difficult even for a healthy person, and someone who has had several cancer surgeries and is facing radiation over the next few months. It's not sustainable. He is promising to go ahead. He is promising that he will be the candidate in the October elections. There looks like an increasing possibility that that may turn out to be impossible, and that somewhere down the line he may announce that his health will not allow him to continue and that he is going to name someone else who will take over in his place as the candidate. He's
so inseparable from the image and the reality of contemporary Venezuela on the policy front, on the personal front, that it's rather difficult for us to envisage what the future of the country might be without him, but we must do that. He's head of a party which itself is not strong on institutional structure. The designated successor is not there. So we must be talking, mustn't we, about some change in policy and outlook and framework in that country before long?
We're talking about a great deal of uncertainty and potential instability. I think you're right. The ruling PSUV doesn't really have an existence beyond Chavez. Chavez is very closely interlinked with Venezuela. Venezuelans, I think, find it very difficult to imagine what Venezuela could be like post-Chavez. It's very uncertain. It's not a party that has any kind of mechanisms to produce a successor or to choose a successor. If there is one, it will be Chavez's personal decision. And there are factions within the PSUV which have been held together by Chavez. If he is forced to go, then it's going to be very difficult to keep those factions together.
Let's talk about the opposition, because one of the ways in which Chavez has been able to dominate the scene is because of the dysfunctionality of opposition. There's a little bit of a change there in the person and the program, I suppose, too, of Enrique Capriles Radonsky. Now, he's a youngish man and quite well positioned to make an impression.
Very much so, I think. Enrique Capriles is the consensus opposition candidate. He won their internal primary by a huge margin. He is only 39 years old. He's taken a very moderate discourse. He's been very careful to adopt the social discourse of the Chavez government. He's promising to improve social delivery rather than dismantling what's been done. All of this, I think, is very important, and it does present a more functional opposition at a time when the government is looking very shaky because of Chavez's health. Having said that, the latest poll this week still gives Chavez an 18-point advantage over Capriles. That could change over time if Chavez gets iller or if he anoints another candidate who's going to be less popular. But we can't discount the sympathy vote, and we can't discount the concerns still about what a change might mean.
Let's talk finally about Venezuelan foreign policy. There are a number of countries who have been beneficiaries of what we might call Venezuelan largesse. Cuba is perhaps amongst the most prominent. And there is a certain attitude, very clear, not changed much towards the United States in Caracas. What do we envisage might be the consequences on those fronts of a change of president?
if it's an opposition win, if it's Capriles, I think there will probably be certainly a warmer relationship with the United States and with Colombia, and probably some unwinding of the relationship with Cuba. I don't think that would happen overnight either. And for instance, talk of suspension of oil supplies under the Petrocaribe agreement, I think, is probably, it's not a short-term option because this is actually a treaty arrangement and they can't just cut it off. If it were another Chavista president, I don't think there would be any tremendous change in relations with Cuba, for instance. I think the Cubans may well have some influence in any decision Chavez takes about who will succeed him, and frankly, they might well prefer somebody who is a moderate who's not going to cause greater instability. And I think that would be the case with Colombia as well. If it's one of the military people who are suspected of links with the FARC, I think it would cause a great deal of friction, where if it were somebody more moderate, such as the current foreign minister, Nicolás Maduro, I don't think there would be very much change in relations at all.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about what we've just discussed, or indeed any other aspect of our analysis or advisory services, please don't hesitate to contact us. We look forward to hearing from you.